Joining me right now is the lawyer who represented the Muslim stakeholders, Mr. Rajeev Dhavan. Mr. Dhavan, thank you very much for speaking to NDTV. For the benefit of our viewers, could you explain the sequence of events that led to what you now call your sacking?
I don't call it a sacking. It was a sacking.
Okay.
I have been working on the review for 10 days. We have met, Mr. Maqbool's team and I, for 10 days, off and on telephone, 3 meetings. I worked all over the weekend to confirm the draft, the structure of which I had in fact indicated earlier. When the draft came to me, I said, no, I would like to rework the draft, which is what I was doing. At 10:15, I went to a dentist for a checkup. I got a phone call through my clerk's phone. Mr. Maqbool said I was no longer associated with the review and the case. I said, are you sacking me? He said, I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do. So he confirmed effectively that he was sacking me. I came back, I wrote a letter and said, you are sacking me as you agreed. As a lawyer, I have no other choice but to accept the sacking. I reminded him of the meetings and also reminded him that the cause is greater than all of us.
Mr. Dhawan, you seem to have worked tirelessly for 40 days and I have been given to believe that all of this was done free of cost. Does this sacking come as some sort of a betrayal?
See, this is not a betrayal. The betrayal was not the sacking. My sense of betrayal is that after the sacking, 3 things were said. The first was that there was no sacking at all, which is just simply not true, a tissue of lies. Second, I was unwell. Now, a toothache does not make you unwell. If I was unwell, then why was I working on the case for 10 days? And why is it that I worked all Sunday to prepare the draft? The third was a very strange thing, that I would not have been able to complete the work on the review until it was time to file. Well, actually, the time to file was yet to come. But Mr. Maqbool wanted to file on the Monday. I had called a meeting. It would have been filed on Monday with my amendments. But before we could meet with his team, he sacked me. Now, this is accusing me of being unprofessional, that I delay. Ask anybody in the team that was with me in Babri Masjid whether I have delayed even by a second. These things are things which I suppose Mr. Maqbool had to do, and Mr. Madani and the Jamiyat, but as long as they tell the truth, I don't mind. They have every right to sack me for whatever reason they want.
Mr. Dhawan, there are people like Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah, Muslim intellectuals, who have said that the land should have been given as a gift to the Hindus. This was way before the verdict was even announced. You think that could have been an amicable way of settling this issue?
See, the many attempts were made. The hearing on this case started when the mediation committee informed the court that the mediation had failed. In between, and this is what I suspect happened, at least so I've been told, while the Sunni Waqf Board was in fact asking us to argue, I think some pressure was placed by Chief Minister Adityanath on the chairman of the Sunni Waqf Board, and he had an FIR against him. Suddenly, he twisted round. He then asked for further mediation. The court said, you can mediate either on your own or with the mediation committee. The mediation committee, since it had failed, was functus officio, which means they had no more function to perform. Mr. Sriram Panchu, one of the members of the committee, then wrote to the court, first asking for protection for this chairman of the Sunni Waqf Board, and then claiming there was a mediation when only 5 people were present. The Hindu Mahasabha, the Sunni Waqf Board, the Shia Waqf Board and 2 others. What kind of mediation was it? The simple problem actually was this, that they said this is ours. You people, Muslims, have done this for a very long time. You are in fact nothing more than invaders, and therefore we want this back. Now consider the consequences of this. Want what back? Did the Hindus not destroy Buddhist temples? We don't want to, in this age and era, get into controversies of the past. Remember, this mosque is from 1528. And so this case went on and on. How fairly it was conducted, I really cannot say. But the inequities of the judgment are absolutely and totally clear.
Now, Mr. Dhawan, you claim to have prepared the draft for the review of the SC decision also. Are we to assume that Rajeev Dhawan or Zafar-e-Aab Jilani, who by the way has offered you to stay on, will not appeal or fight this case anymore in a review?
As far as I'm concerned, one Muslim party for whom I actually appeared has sacked me. The other Muslim party says that they haven't sacked me and they want me to continue. Do you think I can preside over a dispute between Muslim parties so that people may say tomorrow that Mr. Dhawan chose one party over the other, when throughout these long years since 1994 I have not done this? So the invitation to side with one or the other is actually my putting my irons in the fire and stoking a dispute which I hope will be resolved.
Mr. Dhawan, you're known to aggressively and very passionately present your arguments in the court. We have seen, in fact, many highlights in the Supreme Court of your defense are now etched in memory of what transpired during the proceedings over the 40 long days. For a person who has been a fighter...
Whether I'm a fighter or whether any other lawyer could have done a better job, I cannot say. I think they might have. It was a difficult case to argue.
No, but it's hard to believe.
Because I thought the bench was very hostile to us throughout the hearing, and because the record of the case was very, very long and complicated. Therefore, I did my best. But I had to keep our clients united. There were many instances where they were disunited, at which point I kept them united. Remember, the Hindus were also disunited. Mr. Dharam Das and others, in fact the main council, they turned on their own shibet because they wanted to kick him out. Now you tell me this disunity occurs, but I kept them together with the help of the others, and I don't think I want to interfere in a way that would divide them further.
Well, well articulated, you being such a proficient lawyer, but really doesn't answer my question on why would you give up a fight when you fought this case so aggressively. And you prove my point when you say that that you kept everyone together. Now you claim that you do not want to divide the Muslim side and you kept them united. You said that you don't want to divide this Muslim side by appearing for one section. But don't you think that they were already divided?
Look, in these kinds of cases, everybody is divided. In fact, the Hindu parties, the Shibet on one side, and the so-called people for the idol in the Swayambhu were so divided that the judges virtually asked them to kiss and make up. But they didn't. The Muslim parties, on the other hand, stayed together. Some acrimony behind the scenes always exists. I tried to solve as much as I could, and I think I pretty much succeeded. But right now there's a rift. Who do you think should resolve this rift? Them or me? Can I speak for the community? Can I speak for one party against another party? Which I've never done in this case from 1994. I don't think it's my job. I think that Mr. Jilani, who leads the other side, who really deserves the most handsome prize ever for the persistence with which he has argued this case over the decades. He is much more competent than I am to settle this case, to work out the defects in the judgment and go further. I simply hope that the Muslim parties will get together and any differences will heal.
All right, Rajeev Dhawan, many thanks for speaking out, speaking your mind, I would say. Thank you so much.